Jobs are going to be replaced by robots, but jobs are also going to be created. So for every industrialization that has happened in the past, so when we had the steam engine, we had automation, we had all of that. So jobs were lost, but also jobs were created. And now the world is advancing. We have a lot of people, like today we are about 7.7 billion people in the world. Half of that number are young people, people below the age of 24. What do they need to do to keep them abreast to create these jobs? Of course, it's for them to change the way they're thinking and learn. We have education changing. People are now introducing STEM into primary education so people can understand that, oh, this is the future. There's technology now. So it's now at an earlier age. Before, you had to wait to go to university before you decide, oh, I want to do science or technology. But now we have children as little as 7 years old doing coding and all of that. And then, of course, there's something that's happening in Nigeria, which is like migration. And it's not only happening in Nigeria, it's happening everywhere else in the world. I'm sure you've seen the news today that says that Amazon is coming to Nigeria to recruit Nigerian engineers, software engineers, to go and work in Canada and America. How do you prepare yourself for that? It's for you to study, for you to make yourself ready. So like I said, technology is actually a blessing. It's a no-brainer.
But really to try to put things in perspective, whether there's going to be a blessing or a curse will depend on a number of factors. So it's going to largely depend on what we all do and what individuals do. If you look at our population today, we're over 200 million Nigerians. I think the World Bank projects that we're going to be 400 million by 2050. So when you look at that from a business perspective, you say that's large market, that's investment. When you're thinking about where to come to invest in Africa, the first thing you'll be thinking of is where do we have the population? So Nigeria has the opportunity, attractiveness of the market based on our size. But when you now look deeper and you start to ask, these 200 million people, what's their purchasing power? How many of them are educated? How attractive really is the market? So when you have a situation where 40% of Nigerians, about 43% still live below the poverty line, then we start asking the question on how attractive this is. When you have adult literacy level that is 62%, which means 4 out of Nigerian adults actually is not educated. And this literacy level is not really about sophisticated level of education. It's really just saying that this person can have a conversation and can read and can understand and can comprehend. If you compare that to other African countries, so in Zambia they have literacy level of 87%, Kenya 82%, Congo 80%, Ghana 80%. So that will explain why, despite Nigerian being, we are the giant of Africa, but you see a lot of investment moving to Ghana. So it's really around the component, the human development index of the country, which we need to focus on.
Africa is on the rise, we know that. And I can guess or predict very comfortably, just given the numbers that have been shared already about the rate of growth of Nigerian population, that the world will be proudly Nigerian. If you think about the number of people that are immigrating, not just sending their kids to school anymore, actually their whole family leaving. I heard the latest is Sweden, if you don't know. Yes.
Thanks for the update.
So it's an interesting space. We can debate what the future will be or when the future is happening now. And that's the most important thing. So if we go to the next slide, that really talks about the future of work and workplace impact. There are two lenses we can use. We can use the lens of the world of work. The world of work is as been described, digitalization, globalization, and so on. Now we're beginning to see pandemics, we're beginning to see a lot of focus on climate change, driving green energy. If you think about the cost of diesel, I'm sure a lot of you are beginning to maybe switch to petrol because it's cheaper. I'm sure. I know somebody saved about 90% of their daily cost of fuel by just switching to petrol. But that is maybe going to get extinct. So you think about the world of work. What are the disruptive forces? We talked about that. When you think about the future of work, there are three lenses to look at. The first lens is how the work is done. And I think that's the point that was raised. Is technology a blessing? And we know it's a blessing. But if not handled properly, it would be a disaster.
Now, if we look at the future of work, really, there are like four trends that are impacting what the future of work will look like. That's globalization. Right now, the world is now much more connected. So as a business now, you are not thinking about serving your local community alone. You're thinking about how to serve the whole world. And also, you're also thinking about how to attract talent from across the globe. And the same way we're thinking of attracting talent from across the globe, the world is also coming here. So just as she mentioned, Amazon coming here to look for her best hands. So they didn't come in and say they were just looking for just anybody on the road, like just bring a bus and just pack half of the 200 million. They're actually looking for the best of the best, So there's going to be a lot of competition for talent. There's digitalization. There's demographic change also. The median age for Nigeria now is 18. As she mentioned, a lot of our young people are digital native. So our children that have been born now never understood how to use slates. They are using tablets. so they are born into the world of digital, and these are the guys that will create, that will go into the job force of tomorrow. But the question is, is the opportunity that spread? If we look at the country, is that access to education and everything, is it across board? So if we really want to look at it, whether it's an asset or whether it's a cost or a disaster in waiting, I'll look at it from four perspectives. As an individual, you need to upskill yourself. It's a knowledge world out there. As corporate organization, we need to now start to rethink how to change your value proposition for your cost, for your staff, because you can't keep them for too long. Amazon is coming to take them. Government now need to start to invest heavily in education, because if we don't educate our populace, then they will not be an asset. They will actually turn out to be a disaster.
So when we think about the investments we're making in education, we have to be very mindful. Are we trying to get certificates, or are we trying to build skills? The last piece is when and where work is done. And I know in our contracts today, we will see things like your working hours are 9 to 5. That's going to disappear. Your working hours are just getting the job done. So that is what we're beginning to see. And when you think about organizations, government, and so on, it's not one size fits all. We have to think about context, level of maturity, where are we, what are the demographics, and so on and so forth. How do we even provide energy today? What are the infrastructure deficits? Those will be key issues for us to realize. But I think I'm going to start to wrap up to just say that when you think about technology at this point in time cannot replace human beings, as far as I know. Technology, as far as I know, doesn't have passion, does not have creativity, doesn't have human-to-human communication, is not emotionally intelligent, can't take those complex decision-making and things that we do. And there's also the issue of ethics in technology. I mean, the biases we have today, they're already being infused in the technology systems we have. And the question is, how do we mitigate against that as a risk? And I mean, I really like this thing around creative destruction. My fellow co-panelists that talked about what happened in the first industrial revolution. We're now in the fourth industrial revolution. There'll be more jobs, but they will not be jobs that we recognize today. So there will be creative destruction. I'm just going to end to say change is the law of life, and those who look only to the past or present are certain to miss the future. Thank you.